Most tutors fail to scale their business because they get stuck at the exact same level for years, whether that's 10K a month, 20K a month, or even 30 grand a month. And the reason why is because scaling an online tutoring business is not one strategy. In fact, there's 3 stages to scaling effectively. And what works at one stage actively breaks the next stage. And as soon as you know what stage you're at and what you need to do to get to the next level in your business, the confusion goes away and scale finally starts to happen. So in this video, I'm going to share exactly why tutoring businesses get stuck at 10 to 30 grand a month and exactly what you need to do to break this plateau. So let's jump in. So here we go on the screen. Stage 1, most people skip this. So even if you're past 10 grand a month inside of your business, make sure to keep watching because it's likely you're missing one of these few things that is affecting your scale down the line. Okay, so this really sets the foundations for a long-term success in a tutoring business. So I call this the launch phase. Okay, so at launch, this is really from 0 to 10 grand a month. And as I said, most businesses, they skip a few things in this phase and therefore they try and scale their business and they're just not quite ready to yet. So let's make sure we're zoned in on what happens here. So in order to get to the next level, the first thing that you need is a simple way to, of course, generate leads and opportunity to sell your services. That is the primary focus. Where a lot of tutors go wrong here is building out nice shiny products, courses, curriculums when they just don't really have enough students. And they try and pretend they're a business when actually they're not because they just don't have enough clients. A business is something that has a predictable way to make enrollments that can continue to grow. And at this stage, most tutors don't have a predictable way. They're relying upon referrals. They're relying upon word of mouth, posting aimlessly on social media. And so the reason why I said a lot of businesses are trying to scale and they're not actually able to is because they just haven't mastered predictable acquisition. So at phase 1, here's what you need. And I'll walk you through the exact type of funnels you should be using as well to generate leads, generate students, generate demand, and convert that demand into paying clients. So stage 1, you're really looking at either a simple instant form or direct messenger, so DM ad, to generate leads consistently. Looks very simple, like this, Facebook or Instagram ad or YouTube, straight into a messenger conversation, booking onto your calendar, providing the student's homework, and then enrolling the student, okay? Or you're either using funnel number 2, which can probably get you a little bit further than 10 grand a month. Same thing, you're just collecting information on a form. Reason why it's a little bit more automated, requires a little bit more less attention and time than the DM funnel. The rest of the process is the same. So you're just collecting information, phone number, email in an instant form situated on the Facebook or Meta platform. Okay. Now, that's not it at this phase. What you also need is a core offer to sell online group tutoring where you can place multiple students with similar ability into those groups. And then you've got to focus on filling those groups before you get to the next level. Okay. Now you're going to want to be pricing this at round about $500 to $1,500 or pounds for about 12 weeks. And this is where a lot of tutors get wrong who've kind of skipped this stage. They haven't really got the pricing model correct. And that's why they're struggling to scale at the next point. Once they're past 10 grand a month, they just don't have the margins. And so you've got to charge more for a longer period upfront. Okay, reason being that allows you to keep pumping into your marketing, allows you to hire staff predictably, because at the next point, you'll see what's the main bottleneck when we come onto it. So just for an example, here's how easy this can scale. So 10 students at £500 or dollars for a 12-week cycle, that's the average classroom salary. That's how easy it is to replace a classroom salary with an online tutoring business. You just need 10 students a month. Okay, that's why so many teachers have figured this out. And they're switching to online tutoring because it can simply teach less. Okay. 10 students at £1,000 a month. There's your 10 grand a month business. You just go out, enroll 10 students through a predictable system. That's it. Super simple to get to 6 figures. Now, what you want to do to complete this phase is simply aim to fill 10 groups of 5 students. And this would be maximum before you move to the next step. Okay, so 50 students. All right. That's how you complete stage 1. All right. Now, stage 2 then is what I call grow, okay? So a lot of tutors still think at this point, once they're at 10 grand a month, they're ready to scale. you're not ready to scale because you don't have a few things in place yet that actually allow you to scale without breaking everything. So at stage 2, you're still in the growth phase as a business. This is in between 10 to either 20 to 30 grand a month. Okay. There's 3 focuses in this stage. They are simply student results, boosting retention from your students, and allowing you to then step into the role of just focusing on revenue generating actions. Now, a few things need to change in this phase. And so this is not about scaling. As I said, this is about doing what was already working better. Okay. Without you, ideally, or starting to transition into making the student results go up, the retention go up, your sales process better. Okay. You're still not ready to scale. So here's what you do. You need to improve your products. You need to make your product better. So this is actually how you get your students results, right? Because in the beginning, stage 1, you can really just deliver some Zoom lessons and get students results. That's really all they need. They just need a little bit more attention, a few homework, reviews, things like that. But at this point, this is when you're going to want to be building out things like self-study curriculums, deploying in teaching assistants, for example, so that the students have got more accountability, structuring check-in points with the students to just make sure how you're delivering your services is preparing you to scale because you're making things better so that when you do flood the acquisition, try and fill the groups faster, things don't break, okay? So improving your product and how your curriculum and lessons are taught, okay? From there, you're generating and collecting testimonials, so you've got product validation, okay? That way, it's going to make selling easier. You're able to raise your prices. That, again, sets you up for scale long term. And then in terms of making sure that student results can go up, you've got to scale your own teaching delivery down to at least 4 hours a week or ideally less. And so most tutors get stuck at this phase because they stay in delivery. Now, once you get to that 10 grand a month and you've completed phase 1, you do need to think about hiring staff members, teachers, teaching assistants, student success specialists to keep the students accountable and do what you were doing. And so that allows you to focus on improving your product. But at the same time, you're now busy taking enrollment calls, speaking to new students. Your business is starting to get off the ground because you're in the growth phase. Okay. So if you're stuck in fulfillment, you can't grow the business and make it better. Okay. Because you're stuck. You've basically got a job. So you've got to get out delivery and ensure student results go up as you teach less. Okay. Hey, quick break. And this is important. If you're a classroom teacher who wants more freedom, an online tutor who's tired of trading time for money online, or if you've got a tutoring business and you're wanting to scale it predictably without burning out, I created this channel for you. Now, every single week, I release detailed trainings, just like this one, around the most up-to-date strategies that we're teaching to our clients right now. Trainings around attracting better students, getting your students better results, how to sell your services at higher rates, hiring team members, and really just building a tutoring business that you're in control of. And I know if you've watched this far into the video, you're not someone that's okay with just being stuck where you are. So if you can do me a quick favor, just hit the like button on the video, hit subscribe, not just so that you can see the next video, but so that I can continue to create these and we can build a movement of teachers and tutors that are regaining control, having more impact, and earning more income. Plus, it really does help the channel reach more teachers and tutors who need to see this. That's it. Just hit like, hit subscribe, do us a great favor. We'll get back to the video now. That then allows you to boost retention at this phase as well. So essentially, you need to improve your students' lifetime value. This is key because if you can earn more per client that you're bringing in, then simply what that's doing is allowing you to spend more confidently on your marketing because you know a student is going to be worth more. Let's say that initially a student pays you $1,000 or pounds or 500, whatever it might be, for your initial 12-week tutoring program. And then you know a few weeks down the line, they're maybe going to want to enroll and sign up for the entire academic year. You know that student is worth way more. So, of course, you can afford to spend more on marketing and you can keep growing the business. So what you need to do here is start to build upgrade offers, particularly at that 10K to 30 grand a month point in your business so that you can ascend more students and earn more per student. Simple way to do it is simply offer them a longer time period, like an entire year, give them some bonuses, some incentives, a few extra deliverables, because now they trust you. It's way easier to sell to a student who's already bought from you. Okay. This is what a lot of our tutors do. If you take a look at the screen here, this is exactly one of our clients, Luke Savin did. He started building upgrade offers to earn more per student, and in 24-hour period, he brought in 34 grand in 24 hours. This wasn't all on brand new sales. It's because he was able to focus on growing his business, because he's validated it first at stage 1. He got to the 10 grand a month mark, make sure he was teaching less. Now he can focus on improving his product. This is exactly what he did. Started offering upgrade offers to his students, locking them in for longer periods of time. Marcus hit a 50 grand month in his business, actually 58,000 US dollars. That's 43,000 in pounds. Similar process, started implementing upgrade offers to improve his students' lifetime value, which continues or helps him to continue to grow because he can spend more on his marketing on the front end to bring more students in. And that way he knows he's obviously going to keep students for a longer period of time as well. He can confidently scale. Okay. Now, next part is once you've figured that out, your goal is to start just focusing on revenue generating actions only. So a lot of tutors get stuck at stage 2 because they are doing the fulfillment and they're not ascending their students correctly. Okay. They basically have a bucket with a hole in it where students come in and they don't continue. So dropping out the bottom of the bucket. So this phase is all about boosting your skills, improving your sales, improving how you generate leads. So doing things like monthly masterclasses to scoop up the leads who haven't enrolled yet, things like that, so that you can run retargeting campaigns. So you can basically build a better nurture system because now you're not stuck in delivery. So you can make your whole acquisition cycle different. Okay. That way you can start just focusing on enrollment calls. So really in this growth phase, you just need to get into a position where you can take more enrollment calls with students. And that should be your only focus, to focus on that. Okay. Now you can also focus on a little bit of product development, which we touched on the top, which kind of just relates to that in building out upgrade programs, things like that, potentially expanding your niche. Maybe that comes a little bit later. So this is stage 2, grow. Okay. So once you've got all of that in place, the next stage, stage 3, is about scaling. You've got the system in place to enroll students predictably. Now you can scale it. Okay. So in order to do that, there's a few things that you're going to want to focus on. Okay. So to get to 30 grand a month and beyond, or once you get to that 30 grand a month mark, to keep growing and scaling past 100 grand a month and build a 7-figure tutoring business, you need systems. So how the business is running without you. You need to, of course, build teams because now you're hiring tutors. They need to be held accountable and you can't do all of that. You can then focus on product expansion. Okay. Now, also some of the things you need to focus on here are calendar efficiency. So generally what happens now, because a tutor at stage 2, when they're growing, has figured out how to get clients, the only issue is they end up filling their calendar with too many unqualified leads. So to fix that, you simply need to start switching your acquisition model. Okay. Or your calendar's full and you've got enough opportunity, but you've got a ceiling because you can't speak to any more leads. Okay, so you've obviously hit a plateau inside of your business. So the only way to fix that is to hire a closing team or a sales team, which is very hard for most tutors because you're not able to pay the sales team enough and therefore you can't hire people who are skilled enough. So it just doesn't work. So when you do try and hire a sales team, what happens is the revenue goes down and you're losing money. Okay. And then they quit. Okay. So that can work, but it does require, it's a more advanced skill. So what you should be focusing on here to keep scaling is just calendar efficiency. So one of the right hires that you can make at this stage is absolutely a sales setter. So an application setter, appointment setter, whatever you want to call it, that can help you book more qualified leads into your calendar whilst you focus on the biggest task that's going to help you scale, and that's just making more enrollments. But in order to do that, you need to keep your calendar efficient. And again, I'll show you another way to do that in just a second. But the other way of scaling at this point is really making sales scalable. So what you can start to do is, instead of speaking to all of your parents and students one-on-one on Zoom, start to integrate some group-based sales sessions. We call these parent demo sessions around how your tutoring works, and then start to sell them in based on a group. Okay, then you can have your application setting team contact all of the people who watched this group session and try and get them booked in for one-on-ones if they didn't enroll. okay, at that point on one of your group sales calls. Now, a lot of tutors go wrong here because they make an immediate light switch move where they try and switch to group sales immediately before validating the process. So what you would want to be doing is be doing one group session every single week, get good at it, and then you can make a complete switch. Okay. This is exactly how some of our clients like Alan over here was able to scale to 100 grand months, as you can see here on the screen. It's because he's not using all of his time speaking to parents and students one-on-one. He's not spending all of his time tutoring because he's built a team. So he makes his sales scalable by selling to groups. Now, obviously, as I said, it's not a light switch. So he didn't just switch that immediately. He started taking one, then two a week. And then once he had validated his group sales process, he could make a full transition and switch. Okay. Or tutors like Dalton over here, who did 500 grand in a single month. Again, making sales scalable. Okay. So the funnel also needs to change to keep your calendar efficient. So if you look at the funnels here, we were talking about funnel 2 and 1 before, which is the instant form funnel. Well, over here, one of the best funnels to scale your business past 30 grand a month and beyond is to use what we call the shortcut funnel. So instead of using something like an instant form, where you're collecting information on Facebook, on the Meta platform, you need to switch to a simple VSL, so a video sales letter, okay, with an application on it. So instead of just collecting name, email, phone number, which is very easy, such a low barrier to entry for your leads to give you their details, which means you get volume of leads coming through. The issue is they're just not all qualified. So you fill your calendar with people and prospects, students, parents who, one, don't trust you, two, just didn't have the money to enroll, and three, they just weren't qualified. Okay, so what you need to do here is add some form of application in before they see your calendar. Do not let these leads see your calendar before they fill out an application. That way, if you've also built an application setting team at this point, they're following up with people who've been for a full-on application and seen a video of you on your funnel, not just someone who's clicked on a Facebook ad, filled out a form, and entered your system. Okay. They just don't know enough yet. Okay. Plus at this point, you're going to pay a higher cost per lead, but you've got the margins to if you've done everything else correctly before. Okay. Then you can make sure you can send appropriate homework to the students and parents before speaking to them to do a lot of the selling up front. And it's really just then a case of data tracking and optimizing your funnel, building in a better nurture system, email, daily, power content. So basically posting content on social media to improve your branding, and then taking your best content and placing a little bit of paid traffic behind your best content to show it to the leads who've already entered into your funnel. That way you're nurturing them and improving and, speeding up your sales cycle. Okay. Because leads are coming on to calls with you, having seen more of you, they trust you more. And so you can start to do more of that. Okay. So this is the funnel to scale. Now, this is exactly how we've been able to help over 3,000 tutors now scale their businesses predictably online. In fact, we've coached and helped more people than anybody else in the world. And we teach each of these 3 levels inside of our Students on Demand program, which I'll show you right now. So we have Classroom, we have our Group Launch Accelerator, a full built out curriculum on everything that you need to know to finish phase 1. Okay. We have Group Growth Ascension, so phase 2, where you're growing your groups. Okay. So you're focusing on things like improving the student journey, scaling and growing your groups by improving your skill sets with sales and marketing, collecting testimonials so you can increase price points and better retention strategies. And this is exactly where clients of ours, like Luke and like Marcus, got the strategies from to make sure that they can obviously improve lifetime value of their students. And then phase 3, scale. And we teach all of this inside of our Scaling Impact Expansion program, where you're able to build better systems inside of the business, delegate and hire teams and lead those teams effectively so the business can run without you, and then scale your marketing. Okay. So that's exactly how we help clients grow. And this is exactly why we get more testimonials and results than anybody else in the world for helping tutors scale. For example, here's a little look at some of recent testimonials coming in. Tutors who are just starting, taking payment of £600 just over there. We've got someone over here selling Spanish at £750 in the UK. Okay. We've got someone over here scaling their ads. We've got Nathan Cole, 4 sales in his first 8 weeks. Okay. And that's probably helped him replace his classroom salary. Someone over here has done 10 sales in the first 10, 15 days of the month. Someone teaching English, hitting a 21x ROAS. And this is people in the launch phase. And I've already showed you other people who are way down the line inside of their business, and we'll come on to some of them right now. So here's another example. Here's Luke bringing in a £6,500 sale. Okay, that's because he's at the point inside of his business where obviously he can charge more because he's got more results, he's improved his skills, so he's starting to move into that scale phase. Now, if you want to get our help building out your entire student acquisition system, I'll leave a link down below in the comments underneath this video. Click it, fill out an application, schedule in a call with our team. We'll show you exactly what stage you're at and how to get to the next stage and help you get into the point where you can actually scale your business.